In the headlines, Federal Capital Territory Administration demolishes 480 shops at UTC complex to give way for renovation. Bauchi State Governor emerges chairman PDP Governors Forum as party braces off as viral opposition party. Kogi State Government SDP governorship candidate threat words over gunmen attack on Governor Bello's convoy. Around the foreign scene, Sudan's paramilitary group takes over a museum with priceless artifacts. Hello and welcome to Trust News Update. I am Abdurrahman Omar. Thanks for joining. And now the news in full. The Joint Task Force of the Federal Capital Territory Administration has demolished the UTC shopping complex at Garki Area 10, Abuja. The demolition of the 30-year-old structure that was carried out in the early hours of Saturday caught most of the shop owners unaware, with many shedding tears as a result of the exercise. The task force barricaded the area and used tear gas to ward off any resistance from a pocket of shop owners who were at the scene at the time of the demolition. Over 480 shops were demolished when the Joint Task Force of the FCTA stormed the area and prevented shop owners from salvaging valuable items from their shops before the demolition began. But early this year, FCTA served notice of demolition to the shop owners. But the owners contested the move and instantly rejected the offer of alternative shopping complex by instituting court action against the administration. Some of the affected persons lamented huge losses as a result of the demolition, saying the FCTA task force declined all entreaties to allow them to salvage some of their wares in the shops. In reaction, the FCTA said the complex had to be demolished to give way for the needed rebuilding of the place. Kano State Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf has commenced the demolition of structures believed to be illegally erected on properties belonging to the government. Trust TV gathered that late Friday night, a task force set up by the governor began the demolition of structures built inside the Kano racecourse. Recall that the governor had, in his inaugural speech, gave a marching order to security agencies in the state to immediately take over all public properties sold by the administration of former Governor Umar Abdullahi Ganduje. Some of the properties the governor was referring to include lands in and around schools, religious and cultural sites, hospitals and clinics, graveyards and green areas, and along the city wall of Kano, as well as other landed properties and assets belonging to Kano State within and outside the state. He announced that a judicial commission of inquiry will be impaneled in the coming days to ensure that all the perpetrators are brought to justice. In a related development, the governor, during a visit to the Kano State Pilgrims Camp on Friday, also directed all land developers at the Hajj camp to stop immediately. In the meantime, Zamfara State Governor Dauda Lawal has alleged that his predecessor, Bello Matawalle, spent almost 2.8 billion naira on vehicles and failed to leave them behind upon his exit from office last Monday. The governor's senior special assistant on media and publicity, Suleiman Idris, in a statement on Saturday said a contract was awarded by the former governor for the purchase of vehicles to be distributed to dignitaries and other ministries, departments and agencies at 1,149,800,000 naira. It added that the contract for the purchase of the vehicles was awarded to Handcaf Properties and Facilities Management Nigeria Limited. He also alleged that 484.5 million naira was spent on 3 bulletproof jeeps, another 459.9 million for 7 sets of bulletproof Prado Jeep and Land Cruisers, and 228.80 million for 7 Toyota Hilux. The governor further said 61.2 million was paid for 30 sets of Peugeot 404 horses, 130 million for one bulletproof Land Cruiser, and 160 million for two Land Cruisers Jeeps, while 3 vehicles were purchased at 120 million for the office of the Deputy Governor. Governor Bala Mohammed of Bauchi State has been elected the chairman of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) Governors Forum. Also, Governor Similai Fubara of Rivers State emerged the vice chairman of the forum. Mohammed and Fubara emerged on Saturday at a retreat for elected PDP officials at the Banquet Hall Government House in Bauchi State. Mohammed replaced the Oyo State Governor Sheyi Makinde, who was also at the one-day event on Saturday. Meanwhile, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar at the event criticized the decision of President Bola Tinubu to remove fuel subsidy without providing alternatives, describing it as a knee-jerk policy. Kogi State government and SDF governorship candidate for the November 11th governorship election in Kogi State, Murtala Ajaka, have traded words over attacks on convoy of Governor Yahaya Bello on Saturday. The State Commissioner for Information, Kingsley Fanwu, alleged that SDP political talks attacked convoy of Governor Bello around Navy quarters near Lokoja, the capital, when the governor was returning from Abuja on official assignment. The commissioner said the governor left the scene unscarred and there is no cause for panic as the governor is in high spirit. Fao, however, said some security men and other aides attached to the governor sustained some degrees of injuries and have been rushed to medical facilities for medical attention. Responding to the commissioner's claims, media aide to the SDP governorship candidate Kule Afolayo denied the allegations, saying it was APC political talks that attacked them on their way to the palace of Maigari Lokoja from Kotun Karfi. Afolayo said the APC administration in Kogi is using government's might to lie against SDP for a crime they committed against them. Kogi State Police Public Relations Officer PPRO SV William Aya did not respond to inquiries on the incident. But the state government has called for calm, saying the security agents have been mandated to ensure the arrest of the hoodlums behind the attack. In a bid to end frequent farmers-herders clashes in villages of Mangu and Rayom local government areas of Plateau State, stakeholders have met to find solutions to the problem. Villages of Mangu came under attack by gunmen recently, where over 150 people, including women and children, were killed, igniting retaliatory attacks. Ado Musa completes the report.
The stakeholders, including the state governor, Caleb Mutfwan, his deputy, Josephine Pio, traditional rulers of Mangu, leadership of Miyetti Allah Cattle Breeders Association of Nigeria in the area, among others, meet to find lasting solution to the clashes. Governor Mutfwan, while speaking at the meeting, calls on people of the area to ensure unity and show love for one another, assuring them that government will do all it could to address the plight of the IDPs affected by the recent attacks.
It is on the point to have lived in peace, multicultural, multi-religious. This is happening now, worsening by the day. But by the grace of God, we intend that we will arrest the situation. We're going to look at it from different dimensions. The immediate issue is to deal with the welfare and well-being of the displaced people. They are facing a lot of trauma. We need to address those concerns. They are living in horrible conditions. We need to look after their well-being in a holistic manner.
The Magban chairman in the area, Abubakar Soda, assured the governor of their maximum support to secure lasting peace in Mangu and its environs. Both farmers and herders were affected in the crisis. We thank the governor for coming down to condole with the people of Mangu. We have listened to the governor, and I'm assuring him that we will give him the maximum cooperation to ensure peace. But on his part, a leader of Magavul in the area, Joseph Twang, says He is not confident with the peace process, saying, "A lot needs to be done as farmers can no longer go to their farms for fear of being killed by the herders."
Sir, we are happy that you have come. This is the first time a sitting governor will be coming to meet us, to commiserate with us, and also to talk about peace. We are ready to follow, sir. What we are saying is clearly, those who have violated that initial resolution should be called to account. It is only this way that we are sure that our security and safety will be guaranteed.
Stakeholders say mere commitment to resolve the problem between herders and farmers will not help. They say until warring parties develop sincerity of purpose, the problem will linger. Ado Musa, Trust TV News, Jos.
The former chairman of the disciplinary committee of the Park Management System (PMS) in Oyo State, Mokele Lamidi, has said the police in the state cannot declare him wanted. Lamidi, popularly known as Auxiliary, said this while speaking on live radio program in Ibadan on Saturday morning. The Oyo State Police Command on Friday said that Lamidi had been declared wanted due to some allegations levied against him. Lamidi has, however, said that the police could not declare him wanted because he did not fight anyone. He added that all the allegations levied against him are not correct. Lamidi, who spoke in Yoruba language, added that he will support whatever the state governor Seyi Makinde wants, adding that he had warned his followers not to fight anyone because no one can fight the government and go away with it. The new Commissioner of Police deployed to Rivers State, Polycarp Emeka, has warned corrupt police officers in the state command to turn a new leaf, as he will not tolerate compromise and human rights abuses. In a maiden meeting with newsman Nwoyi, who took over from Okun Effiong Okun, noted that his primary assignment in the state was to protect life and property, restating his zero tolerance for corruption. He announced that monitoring teams will go round to monitor the activities of his men and officers.
Is strategic to the economic fortunes of the country. It therefore follows that so much needs to be done to curtail and minimize the security challenges arising from, given the peculiar social/economic environment and the volume of human trafficking. Let me state categorically that I am here in the state to tackle crime and criminality. Intelligence-led policing is in vogue. We shall deploy available technology and also rely on other sources of generating information and intelligence in the discharge of our duties. Community policing has been widely accepted worldwide. It is a working partnership with the police and other stakeholders to prevent crime, arrest offenders, and find solutions to the problems, as well as enhance the quality of life.
You are watching News Update on Trust TV. Coming up shortly after the break, we take a look at youth as harbingers of societal transformation. Details of this and more after the break. Do stay with us.
as part of efforts to support Africa's goal of strengthening.
Now looking at the activity chart, as you can see right here, a total volume of 130.
Created a Boko Haram crisis that at that time was restricted to Yobe.
How secure are they? You can see security men with blood.
This is the road leading up to the...
Already, if you look at England squad, you are looking at EPL, you are looking at their names. You are not looking at...
Welcome back. If you are just joining us, this is Trust News Update. Now we take a look at the recap of our top stories. Federal Capital Territory Administration demolishes 480 shops at UTC complex to give way for renovation. And Bauchi State Governor emerges chairman PDP Governors Forum as party braces off as Vrel opposition party. And now moving on to other stories. The former Ministry of Women Affairs, Pauline Tallinn, has finally opened off on her recent trip to the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission's office in Abuja. Earlier reports on Friday had stated that the former minister was being questioned over allegations of $2 billion meant for the African First Lady Peace Mission program was improperly used. Tallinn, in a statement released early Saturday, disclosed that she arrived at the EFCC office on her own accord, and then that she wasn't detained or invited either. Reports surfaced on Friday that the former minister was being questioned over claims of the misappropriation of $2 billion for the African First Lady Peace Mission project. The former minister said she visited the EFCC headquarters to address the extremely false claims that had lately been made against her. Although she did not specify the reason for her visit, Tallinn stressed that economic and political infrastructure should be used to serve the nation and not to be used as a tool for bias or intimidation. In the meantime, the federal government has banned underage children from participating in the National Common Entrance Examination for admission into the unity schools across the country. Government has accordingly directed the National Examination Council, NECO, to put strict measures in place to prevent underage persons from registering for the examination, including making birth certificate compulsory as registration requirement. Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Education, David Andrew Adejo, gave the directive on Saturday in Abuja while monitoring the conduct of the 2023 Common Entrance Examination into the 110 federal government colleges across the federation. A total of 72,821 candidates sat for the examination on Saturday nationwide. Adejo noted that to get into secondary, a candidate should be at least 12 years old, adding that one could be 11 plus during the examination, and by September, such a person will have attained the age of 12 years. The Permanent Secretary, after monitoring the exercise at the Federal Government Girls College Buari and Government Day Secondary School Buari, said he was unhappy to see many underage persons taking the examination. Youths have been identified as harbingers of social reform and societal improvement whose participation is needed to achieve national development goals. To this end, stakeholders have called for a deliberate focus on capacity training for youth on sustainable development goals with focus on volunteering to them becoming more useful in the scheme of things. Noel Samson has more.
The Sustainable Development Goals, SDG, aims to transform the world by serving as calls to action to end poverty and inequality, protect the planet, and ensure that all people enjoy health, justice, and prosperity. This justifies the focus on volunteering for development purpose for the youth, who consists of 70% of the nation's population.
Develop the capacity of young men and women who are either underemployed or have not been employed to create the necessary skills that will prepare them for job when it eventually comes. The idea is to create a critical mass of national volunteers among our young men and women who will work as volunteers and develop the skills that will prepare them for work when it eventually comes.
We have seen that volunteerism is a development tool that we can use to create, apart from positive engagement, to create opportunities for young people, to either build skills or learn what we call social skills. There's lifelong learning, opportunities for them to learn how to discover themselves, build confidence, self-esteem, and all of those social skills that help them to grow as individuals. So that's part of what we're doing, trying to achieve with the National Orientation Agency.
With young people representing the future of the country, trainings like this one are seen as critical in achieving the SDGs and enhancing national development. Noel Samson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
The Katsina State Internal Revenue Service (KIRS) has given non-tax compliant banks and other agencies in the state a 2-week ultimatum to remit their taxes. The executive director of the KIRS, Suraja Mohammed, who disclosed this on Saturday in Katsina, said the organizations were owing the state more than 1 billion. According to him, the management of the board on Friday visited the affected banks and agencies to inform them of actions to be taken for failure to settle the debt. He explained that the board had placed a notice of non-compliance at strategic points within the affected banks and agencies for the general public to note. He pointed out that failures to settle the liabilities will result in recovery options without further recourse to these organizations. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has sent a message of commiseration to the government and people of the Republic of India over a multiple train crash in the country which killed over 280 passengers. The fatal crash involving 2 passenger trains and a goods train in the Indian city of Balasore in the eastern state of Odisha occurred on Friday. Aside those killed, over 900 others were injured in what was one of the worst rail crashes in recent history. Tinubu, in a statement by his media aide Abdulaziz on Saturday morning, described the train accident as heart-rending and consoled the Indian government and families of the victims. And now on the foreign scene, Sudanese paramilitary fighters have taken over the National Museum in Khartoum, its deputy director said on Saturday, raising fears for the safety of important artifacts, including ancient mummies, amidst a deadly war. Members of the Rapid Support Forces group that have been fighting the army for 7 weeks for control of Sudan entered the museum on Friday, said Deputy Director Ikhlas Abdul Latif, urging combatants to protect the nation's heritage. Museum staff do not know the situation inside the museum because they halted work there after the conflict suddenly erupted on April 15th, forcing police guarding the facility to quit, Abdulatif said. The museum is in a large building on the banks of the Nile in central Khartoum, near the central bank, in an area where some of the fiercest fighting has taken place. Amongst thousands of priceless relics are embroidered mummies dating to 2500 BC, making them among the oldest and archaeologically most important in the world. The museum also contains statues, pottery, and ancient murals with artifacts from the Stone Age through to the Christian and Islamic eras, said former director Hatim Al-Nur. On sports news, Napoli striker Victor Osimhen has won the Best Striker award for the 2022-2023 Serie A season. The Serie A made the announcement on Friday, saying the striker fended off competition from Lautaro Martinez of Inter Milan and AC Milan's Rafael Leao to scoop the prize. The Nigerian backed the award, having scored 25 league goals this time, 4 times more than his closest rival Martinez with just 1 game to go. The Super Eagles forward emerged as the top striker, having led Napoli to its first Serie A crown since the 1989-1990 season. That was the club's 3rd domestic title after previously winning it in 1987. The 24-year-old player is on the verge of emerging as the first African to finish as the top. With that, we have come to the end of Trust TV's news update. Do not forget to follow us across all our media platforms and our YouTube live stream. I am Abdurrahman Umar. Thanks for watching and bye for now.